Chalmers has more.
Shortly before the U.S. strikes, President Trump said recent Iranian attacks on ships in the Strait of Hormuz signaled the end of the ceasefire.
And I say we hit them 20-1. Every time they hit us, we're going to hit them 20.
In Iran, the 2 days of American airstrikes have killed at least 14 people and wounded scores more, according to Iranian authorities. Iran's retaliatory attacks in the Gulf appeared bigger all around, with sirens sounding in Kuwait and at least 3 times in Bahrain, home to the U.S. Navy's 5th Fleet headquarters. There was no immediate word of damage in the 3 Gulf Arab countries. I'm Karen Shamas.
A former Olympic canoe racer has pleaded not guilty to deliberately damaging the Lincoln Memorial reflecting pool.
The administration says David Hearn reached into the pool and violently ripped up sealant installed as part of the president's troubled multi-million-dollar renovation project. Hearn's backers were outside the D.C. courthouse as the plea was entered.
It is not a crime to touch the reflecting pool, to touch water in the United States of America.
Defense lawyer Norm Eisen stood with Hearn after the plea, saying every American should be troubled by a politically charged prosecution. While the president has said vandals damaged the pool, Hearn has said he reached in to examine the peeled sealant and let go of a chunk when a park worker told him to. He's free while awaiting trial. Sagar Magani, Washington.
In Congo, the death toll from the latest Ebola outbreak has reached 600, and the government now says new suspected cases are being reported in previously unaffected parts of the country. This is AP News. Seth Sutel has today's AP Markets report.
Stocks rose and oil prices fell as calm returned to financial markets a day after fighting flared up again between the U.S. and Iran. The S&P 500 rose 0.8% Thursday. The index more than recovered its loss from the day before. The Dow added 139 points. That's about 0.3%. The Nasdaq Composite rose 1.3%. Oil prices gave back much of their gain from the day before. The price of a barrel of Brent crude eased by 2.2%. Treasury yields fell in the bond market. The yield on the 10-year Treasury slipped to 4.54%. Seth Sutel, New York.
U.S. gasoline prices took a jump up 5 cents from yesterday. AAA puts the national average for regular grade just below $3.85 per gallon. There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 8:20 a.m. WCPT Willow Springs and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Regina Cole. Areas of showers and storms will still be around for this evening, with areas of fog developing too. Mostly cloudy skies, a low around 68. Areas of fog will still be around for Friday morning. Then after that, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures top out around 81. Staying mostly cloudy as we look ahead toward Friday night, a low around 66. Sunshine is back for Saturday as temperatures top out around 84. Dipping back to 68 for Saturday night with passing clouds coming in. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 86 degrees.
ThoughtWorks, Inc. seeks a lead data engineer in Chicago, Illinois, to develop modern data architecture approaches for large-scale, custom design, enterprise-level business intelligence and analytics projects. The position requires a bachelor's degree of computer science, computer or electrical engineering, information systems or foreign equivalent plus 4 years of related work experience, or a master of computer science, computer or electrical engineering, information systems, or foreign equivalent, plus 2 years of related work experience. 100% telecommuting available, full-time, 40 hours per week. The salary is $175,348.80 per year. To apply, submit resume to ijobs@thoughtworks.com. Must reference job title Lead Data Engineer and job code 11014 in the email subject line. Once again, Lead Data Engineer and job code 11014 in the email subject line.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses. driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Hey, can you guys hear me? I don't think we're on the air. Hello. Are we? Hey, everybody. Can you hear me, Henry? Nope. Okay, hold on a second. I don't know which button to push. Anybody? Hey. What? You can't hear me? I can't hear myself. Why can't I hear myself? Hey, everybody. Thank you so much for joining us. We drive it home. I'm just trying to figure out what I've got going. Maybe I'm just not plugged in right. Hold on a second, everyone. What is happening? Well, you know what? I'll just assume everyone can hear us. I'm just used to be able to hear myself very loudly. It's me, Matt. How you doing? I just can't find that. Nope, still not working. Hey, everybody. Hi, Dr. Suzana Flores, my guest co-host today. So thrilled to have you in studio.
Hello.
Hello. It's a little bit warm out today, but you're used to hot weather.
I am
guessing, considering you've lived in New Orleans for quite some time, and it gets a little steamy down there.
Slightly.
So Dr. Flores joins us in studio, and she is my guest co-host today. She has been gracious enough to bring a guest with her. Like I've usually,
yes.
I want to make sure that our guest co-hosts know that they are as equally welcome to bring their guests and content. So tell us a little about your guest that's joining us here.
So we, my friends and I and Nola, we love the show Hot Ones, right? And I think I just passively posted like, hey, we're thinking of having our own Hot Ones in Nola. And so we were just going to probably just try to figure out, okay, local hot sauces or something. And then Chef Tony, right, chimed in, right? And I guess we just friended each other or something, right? And then he's like, I can help you with that. So he created, he asked us, what kind of flavors do we want? And what is it called? Sconces? Is that the...
Oh, Scoville units.
Scoville. Oh, I don't know why I always get that wrong. Scoville unit.
Yeah, the heat levels of the hot sauces.
Right. And so he created, we had habanero, what was it? Mango habanero. And then we had a dill pickle, whatever. And then we had a cherry, right? Cherry bomb. And then so it was amazing. And then we did a Facebook Live thing. And so I had my Wolverine action figure because that was motivation. I cannot quit. And, so we went down the line and I actually made it to the end. I was very proud of myself, but not before completely inhaling an entire bag of sugar to try to neutralize the heat from this stuff. But, the flavors were incredibly on point. Incredible.
I love it. Hi, Chef Tony.
Hello.
Pleasure to meet you today.
It's a pleasure. Thank you.
I have to ask, well, first of all, have you always been somebody who dabbled in these kinds of different kinds of flavors, of spices? And
I've always taken the approach to a scientific. Alton Brown was a big inspiration for me in my cooking. So it's I always like to... I love it when people go, you can't do that with that flavor. And I'm like, watch me. And I will work 6 months for my business. A lot of my jerky flavors, when I was doing that, they were 6 months in development until I got it absolutely perfect. But I had some pretty wild flavors out there that have not been seen before.
What would you say was the one flavor or I'm guessing there's a handful of them, but what jumps out at you as a flavor that people doubted you on?
It was my Biohazard, which was rated at 1.1 million, lab tested. And the reason people doubted on me because there was these other companies that were making a very hot jerky and stuff, but they were only coming in at 500,000. They're like, you can't make this hotter. And so I'm like, okay, challenge accepted. And my business is still standing. They shut down.
Yay.
Yeah. So
success is the wildest revenge.
Exactly. I don't have to take you down. I'll just take you down in the market.
Yeah, no kidding. Fantastic. And you're also an author, and you've started some really fun elements to the culinary world as well. Bite Club.
Yes, that is my business.
That's your business. So what was the genesis for Bite Club?
Bite Club started back in I want to say about 2014. I was just enjoying cooking and I was making all this stuff for people and they were coming back and saying, you should really kind of sell this stuff. You have a market here. You got to stop giving it away and stuff like that. So I, a one-man show. I just put it together, got myself an LLC, started the business and started selling online. A lot of my stuff, I had to get special permits for my jerky production and stuff. But it just took off from there. I started actually at a Comic-Con in Joliet.
Oh, fun!
Love Comic-Cons.
Yeah, it was the Galaxy show. I think it was held at the Joliet Museum.
Nice.
And they had a table open, and he was very unsure about bringing me on. And I said, he actually approached me, and he's like, look, I have a table. I won't charge you for it. let's get your jerky out there. And he was very unsure about how well I did. People were coming back 2-3 times to buy my stuff. And they were walking around the convention at the end. He's like, okay, I don't know where you came from, but you have got to sign on for every year after this. So,
nice.
So
that's a good feeling.
Up until COVID, I was there every year selling, and people were coming back. I had my own fans coming back to me just for me. Like, they weren't even there for the Comic-Con. They were just coming in to get my stuff and to talk to me.
Amazing.
Yeah.
God, that's got to feel so good,
It
too.
is.
Yeah.
It is. It's really awesome to have. I never thought I would have my own fans in life, but
there you go. Well, I want to I have to reset a little bit because it was an auditory thing for me, and so I want to make sure that we properly introduce everybody. So this is going to be a fun show. So Dr. Suzana Flores is a Chicago girl.
Southside.
I wrote a whole thing.
I always say Southside.
Southside. She's a clinical psychologist, TEDx speaker, and the author of 2 books, which are amazing for different reasons. One is called Face Hooked, about what social media has quietly done to us and is doing to us.
Which is, present tense.
Yes,
yeah.
and is doing to us. And the other is Untamed, and it's a psychological deep dive on Wolverine. She does trauma, she does pop culture, she does the messy stuff. She's got her own practice, and I just got the information on that, and now I don't know where it went. I had it all. It was written
I'm
down.
going to use it as a slogan. Like, I do pop culture, I do trauma, and I do messy stuff.
Yeah, she does messy stuff. Here it is. Susie's website is trauma-institute.com.
Yes.
That's trauma-institute.com. And I'm so excited about our guest, Chef Tony, as well. And so Chef Tony, as we mentioned.
You just call me Tony.
No, I'm going to call you Chef because I watch Bear Club.
Okay.
And the Bear, you only call him Chef.
Well,
Hey,
we're
Chef.
not in the kitchen, but I'll take it. So, thank you.
Corner. Sorry. Door. What was the first restaurant you ever worked in?
Shalosky's. Shalosky's Deli. I was a baker.
Oh my gosh!
Yeah,
really?
Do they even exist anymore?
I don't
I'm not
think
sure.
Shalosky's does anymore.
No.
Wow, that just shows how old I am.
Oh my God! Well, I'm excited to have you both here. And again, Chef Tony is the owner of Bite Club. And where do people find out about Bite Club?
I have a website. It's biteclubnoms.com. Yeah, well, Bite Club was taken by a gothic S&M vampire club in Britain, so I had to go. so I had to go with I had to put the noms on there, and at the time, noms was a very popular slang term being thrown around the internet, so I capitalized on it, and now I'm stuck with it, and no one's using it anymore. But that's okay. Bite Club Noms.
Bite Club Noms for all of your needs, Bite Club related.
And so I would like to say I have just reopened the business. We've been closed since the tornado destroyed my house last year, and I had to kind of rebuild the entire business from scratch. So we are officially open now.
So tell us about that experience of surviving. I mean, like, what the frickin' frack?
So,
what do you want to share? I shouldn't put you on the spot.
It's a chilling story though. So it was just a normal day, April 2nd, 9/21. Sitting on the couch, cats around me and stuff, and Mr. J, my beloved, who I lost last year, he kind of like poofs up out of nowhere, and I just happen to look, and that's not his normal attitude and stuff. He's usually a very calm cat. And right when he puts, I look outside and there's patio furniture like slamming against the front of my house. And I'm like, okay, we need to get downstairs now. So I get 2 of the cats downstairs. The 3rd cat freaks out, runs upstairs. I run after her. She's under the bed of my spare bedroom. And you hear the tornado coming. And what had happened was there was actually 2 tornadoes. It had split about a mile from my house. So the first one was hitting my house while I was rescuing her. So I'm like, and I remember this so vividly. I was like, baby girl, come on. If you don't get out from under this bed, we are going to die. And she actually came out to me, and I grabbed her. As I'm running down the stairs, as I turned on the landing, the 2nd tornado hit the side of my house.
Oh my God.
Rips the wall away. So, I mean, I'm literally 2 feet away from this wall. It's being torn away, and I am holding her. And in that moment, there was nothing. There was no gravity, no sound, no air, no nothing. And it felt like I was in there for 50 years, but it was only a split second. And I remember vividly, I just accepted it. I'm going to die. Me and my baby girl are going to ride off into Valhalla together.
My God.
And then it snapped back, the vacuum from the tornado snapped back, and it actually took me down the stairs, stumbled. I still held her, got downstairs. By the time I hit the bottom of the stairs, it was done. It was gone. and all you heard was the rain pouring through the destroyed house.
That is insane.
Mm-hmm.
You said, I'm sorry, April this year? Or
No. It was April 2nd at 9:21 in 2025.
Oh my! So a year. Wow.
Yeah. So I just moved back into my house a couple months ago from it being mostly rebuilt. And here's the funny part: the tornado hit on the same exact day on my 2-year anniversary of signing the deed to the house, like to the day. It destroyed the house. So.
Wow.
Yeah.
And what community was this in?
This is in Brownsburg, Indiana. Wow. And I had only lived there for like 2 years before the tornado hit.
So this is 2025 because I know. I mean, I'm just trying to think of because obviously with the things that we talk about are what's happening in the news. Across the country there have been cuts to the even including the weather advice, like all of the weather reporters. All the funding for that. Like Tom Skilling has been railing against the fact that it puts people in a vulnerable position.
Oh, absolutely. The sirens did not sound when it hit. So I was like, the entire neighborhood was completely unprepared from it. So it was a scary night. It's that sound of the vacuum snapping back is something I will probably hear on my deathbed. Like that'll be the last sound that goes through my mind because it's just so embedded into my soul right now.
I mean, I'm watching Dr. Flores' face because this is trauma.
This is trauma.
Oh yeah. Oh, I'm not gonna lie. There is some PTSD from it. When the weather starts getting nasty, like I feel my heart rate starting to rise and stuff. I have become very weather aware. Watching Max Velocity anytime he goes live, and I'm staying above it because before I didn't realize I had the notification silenced on my phone, the emergency notifications. So, and I had silenced them probably 15 years prior to that. I just never turned them back on. Yeah, and now they're on. And now I have like 8 weather apps that like
we call that hypervigilance, right?
Sure.
Like where you're always on alert waiting for the other shoe to drop, like you're planning 12 steps ahead, like you're always, like you can't fully relax. I get it.
Yeah, it's like I said, every time the weather starts building, I'm like, that's just. So I have completely redone my basement. It is a very comfortable place to stay in. So and even if the weather starts getting rough, and
you go downstairs,
I just go downstairs.
Yeah,
we have a TV. Everything's down there. The cats have food, everything. So we're good, safe. So
let's talk about this when we come back because this is I know people have been through traumatic experiences like this, and maybe this is something Dr. Flores would like to address as well. We are in studio with Dr. Suzana Flores. Again, her practice you can find online. The website is trauma-institute.com. That's trauma-institute.com. Chef Tony joins us in studio. He's the owner of Bite Club. Now, is this book available online, the Bite Club?
Yes, that is my first cookbook. It was released in 2024. It is available on Amazon, Barnes & Noble, stuff like that. You could usually buy it through my website, but I am completely sold out of the hard copies right now.
Oh my God, these noodles. Like, what is this?
Right.
It's ooey gooey creamy mac and cheese, everybody. How good is that?
Oh, I found a Cubano in there. He has a Cubano sandwich.
It was one of my favorite sandwiches.
These look amazing, so folks should pick one of those up. And then as far as your products, like the caramel corn that you brought, I feel bad like crinkling good food in front of people also.
Everything's available. Everything I brought today is available on my website. They're all my bestsellers.
Outstanding. And by the way, I'll tell you this when we come back, but I want to make sure we get to all of our sponsors as well. Thank you to our friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and put in an order for the best single origin roasted order coffee you have ever had. They started out as hobbyists. They just thought, can we roast coffee beans? And it turns out they are incredible small batch coffee roasters. And every single cup of coffee tastes like a love letter in a mug. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com. You can order a bean subscription. You can find out where they'll be at the next Sunday market, including Jefferson Park Sunday Market this Sunday, where I volunteer every second and fourth Sunday of the month in the Jefferson Park proper right there at Lawrence and Long. We want to thank our friends at Social Change. Thank you so much for your support for the Pride Parade this year and sponsoring our float. Go to socialchange.site to help change lives. Source.solar. Go to source.solar, make an appointment with Peter Sorellis. Maybe it's time to get solar panels on your house or business, and he's got a way to help you finance because he's got a partnership with the state of Illinois, Solar for All. So go to source.solar. That's source.solar. There's no .com because the .solar is the site, source.solar. Are you really winning? So proud to partner with them. I grew up in a household where my father struggled with gambling addictions, and I'm proud to help them have conversations that maybe a lot of people aren't comfortable having. Go to areyoureallywinning.com if you or someone you know is struggling with a gambling addiction. We also want to thank our friends at Berman's Auto. Thank you so much for your support. Berman's, Kia, and Hyundai. They also have Subaru. It's Berman's Subaru. Thank you so much for your support for this year's Pride Parade. Let's take a break here and continue a conversation with Dr. Suzana Flores and our new friend, Chef Tony. If you have any questions, we've got your texts at 773-763-9278. That's 773-763-9278. And we'll open up the phone lines in about 10 minutes. Thank you for joining us on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, KTNF AM 950. And hello to our friends tuning in digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and now Monaco Brewing Company Substack, everybody. If you are watching digitally, please consider subscribing and sharing with your friends and family so they can join the conversation too. That's a lot. I should write these things down.
This is First Take at Daybreak with Al Kendall. Sundays, 7 a.m., where sharp minds meet real conversations. From city programs making a difference to guests shaping Chicagoland's future, Al's got the mic and the message. You'll hear from folks like Board President Tony Preckwinkle, city and county officials, and maybe even your alderman. He has a rotating cast of insiders who actually know what's going on. If you want the headlines and the backstory, start your morning here. First Take at Daybreak. Sundays, 7 a.m., unplugged and unfiltered.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk
or Pete.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle. And our friends are going to be joining us a little bit on KTNF AM 950 in Minneapolis, St. Paul. And, of course, all of our friends tuning in digitally, perhaps on Facebook, on YouTube, Monaco Brewing Company Substack. Please consider subscribing and sharing with your friends. And if you happen to be tuning in on a podcast, thank you for being a future person as you're designated by Politics Bar. You can find all those podcasts at heartlandsignal.com. Joining me in studio is a voice that's familiar and face, because we are broadcasting, of course, Dr. Suzana Flores. She's a psychologist and specializes in trauma-related situations. Yes. Is that the best? Sorry, there you go. Yes.
Thank you. Yeah, trauma, chronic pain, cyber addiction. That's kind of my gig.
It's your gig, and everyone can go to trauma-institute.com. That's trauma-institute.com, and you can click on book an appointment.
Yes.
To learn more. That was the loudest zipper I've ever heard.
I did not mean for that to happen. I am sorry.
What kind of appointments are you booking? Psychologist fans only sites.
I am so sorry. Like that. Yeah, I was like, I was chilly. I was chilly.
That was the best sound effect I've ever heard on my show.
Yeah, psychology clients only,
Yeah,
right?
Only psychologists.
Only psychology. Only, yeah, exactly.
Well, now, Chef Tony, everyone has to have their own sound effect. I'm just teasing.
Oh, you don't? No.
Yeah, I'm teasing. Chef Tony is the owner of Bite Club. He's also got a book out. You can cook like Chef Tony. The official cookbook of the Bite Club Kitchens, and that's available wherever you buy your books, including Amazon. And I haven't cracked open the bag of popcorn because I need to talk for at least another hour or so. So what flavor did you say you brought?
That is a bourbon caramel corn.
Of course it is.
Yeah.
Yes, go ahead.
The bourbon is it's a very, very It's a very hint of it, so you're not going to get drunk off it, but it definitely adds to the smokiness of the caramel corn.
Fantastic. And then you also brought...
No drunk, then forget it.
Yeah, right?
Oh, I can make it for adults, but it's usually people with kids are ordering that the most.
Well, doesn't it also kind of cook off, too, when you...
Yes, alcohol actually burns off at 174 degrees.
Oh, there you go. And then you also brought 2 hot sauces, dill pickle and cherry bomb, which oddly also sound like another... that sounds naughty.
Wait, which one?
You got your dill pickle and my cherry bomb.
You couldn't help yourself. It's right there. It's right there.
You mentioned that you worked at Schlotsky's Deli.
Oh, long time
and
ago.
Someone says Schlotsky's does still exist in Texas. Was Schlotsky's wasn't a chain, was it?
Yeah, it was actually.
Oh, it was.
Yeah.
I have no idea about these things. Well, apparently it still does exist in
good to
Texas. So thank you very much.
If I find myself down there, I'll have to stop in and see if it's still the same quality as when I was making it.
Excellent. And so we were talking about this experience you had in Indiana. Your house was hit by a tornado, and you just have gotten your business back open recently, you said.
Yes.
In the last few months.
Yeah, it's while I was down for over 9 months, 10 months almost, because I was staying in a rental house, and while the house was getting rebuilt, so I lost all my permits, my food preparation, my sanitation, stuff like that, because you just can't keep it up while they're rebuilding a house and stuff like that. So, so I've been putting it together, but the tornado actually proved to be helpful in some ways, because I really started digging into new books that I wanted to write. And so I have one now that it's about to hopefully hit an agent's desk, and hopefully we'll see it go widespread. But I'm very proud of it. But yeah, it's for the 9 months I was down, I had nothing else to do but write, and I started dabbling in music production, things like that. So it's just absolutely blown up. I feel like I'm almost in the 3rd chapter.
This is such a cute photo, by the way, in your Bike Club cookbook.
Yep, that's me and Mr. J.
It's very sweet.
So sweet.
Yeah, it was done by a very, very talented artist who I've been friends with on Facebook for a long time. She was more than happy for me to use it in the book.
And did you self-published, or was this a book?
That was self-published on my part. I was just wanting to get it out there. I've been promising all my fans for the longest time. Everyone's like, you got to put out a cookbook, and I finally just all right, let's do this, guys. Let's put out a cookbook. And it's written from the point of view like if you were standing next to me in the kitchen. So there is naughty words in it, and there's a lot.
I often love that.
There's a lot of innuendos in there and stuff like that. So it's a very fun book to cook, but. Unlike other chefs, I like to, here's a recipe, make it like it is. You're probably going to get a good result, but alter it. Make it your own. Add more spices, play with it. I like to encourage people to do that with recipes. It's a lot of people are like, oh no, you got to stick to the recipe. No, it's there's a saying in the book, in the beginning of the book, it says, treat cooking like jazz and baking like science. So, go nuts with the cooking. If you want more mushrooms, add more mushrooms. If you don't, take them out. It doesn't really matter. So that's what that book is. It gives you kind of a base recipe where if they're made by themselves, you're going to get a good product, but go nuts with it. Make it your own,
And I love it's got the feel of a graphic novel, too.
Yeah.
I actually did all the illustrations as well.
Oh my God!
Yeah, that is a one-man show right there.
That's great.
I am a graphic artist.
Nice.
Yeah,
this looks beautiful.
Thank you.
Yeah, I mean,
I will say the hardcover edition looks a lot better. So if you're going to pick it up from Amazon, I would highly recommend getting the hardcover edition. Plus the coated pages also resist spills.
Nice. Okay, well done. And we were talking about your recovery after a tornado, and in general, I mean, you were mentioning hypervigilance.
Yes.
And I think that while it's obviously a response, we should also be aware of that, right? Mindful of what that's doing to our day-to-day too, right?
Yes, every day we're hypervigilant, right? Every time we, turn on Facebook, every time we, get a news notification, anytime we're speaking to anybody actually at this point or any kind of news, it's just like we feel like we're having, the damage report kind of moment, right? Like we're all having mini heart attacks of like, okay, what's going to happen? Like, or what has happened today, or now what? Yeah. Right? That's usually like, okay, what has he done now? Yeah. Right? Or it's just
now
like,
what?
And I have to like emotionally prepare myself, And it's interesting because in sessions, like we don't usually talk politics. We're like, okay, we don't talk about, we're like, well, we try to avoid it as much as possible, but in recent years, that's been near impossible. To do that because it is what is affecting people. Like, okay, my main stressor is on a larger scale, and it's like I'm under this umbrella of hell, and it's like, how do I cope with that? So we do have to talk about it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it is. There are people who would rather just shut off. I don't want to hear news. I avoid it, that kind of thing. In this, after the shooting, after so many people have been shot and killed or died in ICE custody, the violence that has been happening all over our country, and the latest shooting in Houston, which isn't getting as much attention because we didn't all watch it like within moments. When Renee Good was murdered in her car in Minneapolis, we saw that within moments because there were so many phones on it. This was a guy who was not in the middle of of trying to help his neighbors with ICE agents. He was just working. He was on the job and was pulled over by Border Patrol for whatever reason. And can you imagine? His son said he learned of his father being shot while he was watching a video online, and he knew it was his dad because he could tell by his voice.
Oh my God.
It's just horrifying.
That is horrifying.
And we're not learning as much, not only because there aren't videos, that there weren't a lot of people standing around with their phones. It's also because he's Latino, and we know that. We know that that's what rises to the attention of national news. So we have to do everything we can to make sure that we hold ICE accountable. And by the way, I'm so frustrated with the state of Illinois and the prosecutors here and the state's attorney's office for not going after these poorly trained, dangerous thugs who are roaming our streets under the guise of being law enforcement. And I'm fed up with it. Let's take a break here and continue on another conversation. When we come back on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, KTNF AM 950 joining us in just a little bit. But I figure I'm on a roll. I'll just keep saying it. Also want to thank our friends who are watching on Facebook, YouTube, and Monaco Brewing Company Substack. Hi, everybody. We're going to be right back after these messages.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Regina Cole. Areas of showers and storms will still be around for this evening, with areas of fog developing too. Mostly cloudy skies, a low around 68. Areas of fog will still be around for Friday morning. Then after that, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures top out around 81. Staying mostly cloudy as we look ahead toward Friday night, a low around 66. Sunshine is back for Saturday as temperatures top out around 84. Dipping back to 68 for Saturday night with passing clouds coming in. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 86 degrees.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
You know that you can listen to Chicago's Progressive Talk on WCPT AM 820. Stream us live at WCPT820.com and on the TuneIn Radio app. Or you can ask Alexa, Siri, or Google to play WCPT from TuneIn. But now you have another option. We're simulcasting our programming overnights, 8 p.m. to 6 a.m. on WSBC AM 1240 for a clearer reception in and around the city. Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820. And now overnights on WSBC 1240 AM, where facts matter. WCPT Replay.
We are blessed to have one of the most prolific writers and storytellers and authors in the country right now, and that's Michelle Duster.
When people try to say, well, they want to make America great again, it's code language for making it white again. But this country has never been a white country. People want to act like there were no indigenous people here. They were in the majority when, the Europeans discovered this country. And then after millions of Africans were imported by force, to come to this country, in many places in the South, people of European descent were in the extreme minority. Mm-hmm. So then for them to not say out loud they want an all-white country, it's like it never has been. They're pining for something that never existed.
Keep listening to WCPT 820. Because facts matter.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Here's great news for those Chicagoans heading up to southern Wisconsin. Should you ever forget to load up on progressive brews from the local favorites like Rogers Park Provisions or Park West Liquor in Lincoln Park, Monaco Brewing Company beer is now conveniently available at Dream Liquor and Cigar in Kenosha and in the Lake Geneva area at Delavan Liquor and Smoke in Delavan. If the great town of Madison, Wisconsin is your jam, please remember to swing into the Monaco Brewing Company tap room at 2927 East Washington Avenue to grab some Resistance beer, pizza, t-shirts, and progressive camaraderie.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our conversation here on WCPT Heartland Signal here in Chicago. And we're so thrilled to have our friends in Seattle, listening on KKNW 1150. And of course, coming up in a little bit, we'll be on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. I want you to know about the stations, the call letters of the folks who are carrying Progressive Talk Radio as we continue to grow here at WCPT and Heartland Signal. Make sure you're following the Heartland Signal newsroom to catch all the stories that shape our democracy. They've got a lot going on, and they want you to stay informed. I want you to stay informed so we can continue to have these conversations. Henry, we can open up the phone lines if you don't mind, so folks can join our conversation. Joining me in studio, we have Chef Tony, who is the proprietor, the owner, the founder of Bite Club. Go to biteclubnoms.com. That's NOMS, Bite Club, traditional spelling. And we're thrilled to have you in studio, not just because you brought treats, but that's a good reason.
I always figure bribery always works.
And it does.
Oh, my God, these are so good.
But they are good, yeah. The caramel popcorn's yum.
And we also have in studio with us Dr. Suzana Flores. She's an author. She's a psychologist. She focuses on trauma-related situations. I know I keep changing what that is, but it's you can go ahead and...
I treat trauma, anxiety, I treat many things, but most psychologists specialize in one thing or, at the other a couple of things. So I tend to do chronic pain, coping with physical chronic pain and trauma. So I also specialize in treating first responders. I have first responders and military in my family. I was trained at the VA Medical Center. So anyone who's a first responder, military, active military, former military, you have a very special place in my heart. And you'll get priority.
Are you talking, and obviously I don't know what the guidelines are for having these conversations, and you do, so feel free to push back on anything. But with the current situation, I'm just hearing stories today about soldiers who've been deployed and are continuing to serve in Iran.
Right.
And of course, globally, there's a lot of stress related to that. Are you getting a lot of conversations or situations?
Yeah, absolutely. So there's two main kinds of post-traumatic stress, right? There's the PTSD that we understand, a highly charged, emotionally life-threatening event. And then there's something called complex PTSD, which is prolonged stress, right? Or having multiple traumas. So the nation, right, or the world is experiencing complex PTSD. So other examples would be Hurricane Katrina would be PTSD. Mm-hmm. The aftermath is complex PTSD. 9/11 is complex PTSD. COVID is PTSD. What we're going through right now is certainly complex PTSD. So that affects people for many years, and it's very difficult because you could feel like emotional numbing. You get panic attacks, anxiety. You're just, not yourself. Agitation, irritability, frustration, or impatience. Everyone's on edge. No one, we have no sense of stability, problem sleeping, changes in appetite, and at an extreme, sometimes suicidal thoughts. But, a lot of relationship issues. And so, if you are noticing any of these symptoms, it's not you, it's a trauma symptom, and it's what happens when it's happening on a global scale, right? Everyone is going after each other. You don't know what to believe. You don't know what to, whatever. And then you also experience what we call learned helplessness. We have fatigue, I don't want to see this anymore. I don't want to hear about this anymore, even though we have to, and it's it's important to, but it's exhausting. So we have to take breaks and such, but it's just information overload. So it's multiple messages from multiple sources throughout multiple times during the day. It's a lot.
And it's also not a competition for folks who see somebody maybe who's gone through trauma and they seem well adjusted, or they're doing something differently or putting it out on social media. We all have our own responses. We all have, whether it's how we're wired or how we were raised or what the trauma is. Because there are people who feel like I'm not, I must not be as well adjusted. And I'll tell you, yesterday I struggled on the air with, or was it the day before? See, I don't even know time. Sometimes just the general PTSD. But with the news about Plantner in Maine. And then people calling up or texting and saying, I call BS. Why is she coming forward now? All these demands on survivors.
Right.
As a survivor, I went through, and I do share my own story because it's I will tell you where I'm coming from, but it's exhausting. It is
exhausting.
But I feel the need to.
And then feeling the need to justify, right? Or explain yourself.
And nobody has to, just because I do, or you think I shouldn't, all the different things.
Right.
It's my own reaction in the situation in the moment.
Exactly. So not only are you dealing with the trauma, but you're dealing with the injustice, right? And the invalidation and the betrayal, that goes along with it.
I actually had a really interesting conversation with a woman yesterday about toxic workplace. Oh, I haven't aired that interview yet, but there's a woman named Jen Schroeder who went viral. I don't know if you guys saw this online, where she was in her mid-50s and she'd worked for this company. She was the director of her department, and she was led to believe she would be promoted to the next position. And instead, not only was she not promoted, they promoted a 25-year-old to take that position and then asked her to train them. And she's in her car after this happens and just goes and and kind of just sort of like starts going through it. Which now she started a consulting company, and she said she is so surprised and overwhelmed by how many people work in a toxic work environment.
Yep.
And we both, and I came from a toxic work environment, and I was like, one of the hardest things is knowing that you will never have justice. That that there's, I mean, the protections for workers in this country are minuscule in comparison for the protections for the oligarchy. Is all I'm saying.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. Well, that's another example of complex PTSD. If you have an abusive boss or an abusive environment, abusive relationship, anything like that can count.
And I think there are some people who get into a cycle of like, what did I do wrong sometimes? Like, what could I have done? And there's also an element of shame. Like, the same thing with like a a survivor of sexual violence.
Right.
What was she wearing? Did I ask for it? Was it partly my fault? It's a lot.
And I can explain why that happens actually. Because like the brain likes to control things and likes to organize things, like categorize things, right? This goes here, this goes there. But when there's something that traumatic that happens, the brain can't process that. So we tend to blame ourselves. So like we can't make sense of what's happening out there. So then we're like the woulda, coulda, shoulda's on ourselves. And people love to blame the victim. Right? I always feel like smacking them 88 times because they don't understand trauma. So like when something is happening, like, let's say a sexual assault, people go through the fight, flight, or freeze response. And the majority because your brain will pick the one that it believes will keep you the safest. So the majority of victims of sexual abuse will go into freeze. And the brain is correct, because if you fight, you could get hurt more. So, most people are like, well, why didn't you yell? Why didn't you go to the police immediately? Why didn't you whatever? Your brain goes into shutdown, so you didn't have a choice. And I really hope people hear that, right, to validate them. So like, why didn't or whatever? First of all, it's not on you. Second of all, your brain's protecting you. And that's why, often like these victims, they have advocates that go with them to court so that someone can help them, think for them, because the front part of your brain is shut down. It's not the prefrontal cortex, your logic, your processing, et cetera, your problem solving. It's not working properly. It's shut down. So you're functioning more out of fear, the primitive side of the brain, right? The amygdala, the middle part, right? And so like you're just, you're going haywire, and, you're feeling trapped, and you're functioning out of fear. So you're immobilized.
Yeah. I have to tell you, I had this happen in my 20s. Like I can remember, I can remember everything kind of around. I was in college at the University of Illinois, and I've told this story before, so indulge me, everybody. But we have some new listeners and some new friends in studio. But I can tell, like I can remember this so crystal clear. I had a townhouse apartment. It was like 3 stories, and there were 4 of us, and it just cheap, college apartment. But the first floor, the kitchen, you had a straight shot from the kitchen, like a galley kitchen, real small, and then you could see straight through to our sliding glass doors. And my 2 roommates were standing in the doorway of the kitchen while I was cooking a stir fry. I like to make ramen noodles with some fancy stuff. My 33-cent, stir fry, and I'm sitting there and I'm cooking, and they're looking at me, and I'm not moving. And I just remember, I don't remember how long I was frozen, but they realized that the food was burning, and I was just standing there frozen. And one of my roommates turns around and she runs and closes our curtain. I still don't know what's happening. I don't know what's happening. And they call the police. The cop is there. Everyone's talking. And I just remember, the moment that I clicked back into talking was probably 20 minutes. Mm-hmm. And they said, I don't know. Patty was one that's on the whole time. And I was just like, I just thought, honestly, this is what I did. I just thought there was a guy peeing by our back door, but then I was thinking, well, guys don't usually pull their pants all the way down, and I'm like, and then I couldn't stop talking. But there was a guy who was pleasuring himself, and probably the fact that I was sitting there, standing there, like staring at him for a while. And then they brought a card with a bunch of different pictures later, like they had caught somebody and they wanted to see if I could identify. And because I couldn't, like, I had given a description, and I picked somebody out, and they said, how sure are you? And I just couldn't, because I had frozen, because I didn't, I didn't feel confident. I said 40%. It turned out it was the guy. They let him go, and he broke into a house, and they eventually did catch him. But it's really surreal. Like you hear people talk about it, and that people freeze. And it took me a long time to even talk about it, because it was, and that's one of the, hi everybody. But at any rate, it's weird. It's a very strange thing. It really, I can attest that you completely freeze, and that the fact that I remember it, not everybody remembers.
Right.
Some of those things.
And, right. They process it in different ways. So like when I would, especially working in New Orleans, when I would ask people their trauma history, they'd list like, any physical, emotional, sexual abuse, et cetera. And then I eventually ask the question, so were you here for Katrina? And the second I mentioned that word, I could see trauma symptoms, right? Like I could see their face change. I could see shaking or whatever, but it's like no one lists it. Two reasons probably, right? One, your brain compartmentalized it. And two, Louisianians are really tough people. They've been through the ringer. They handle things, right? So they just don't see it as trauma because they've gone through so many hurricanes and so much, other stuff in their life, So it just always floored me. Like no one is mentioning Katrina. Like how do you not mention? It's kind of like going through 9/11 and you're not mentioning 9/11, but your brain remembers, right? Like COVID, like you may think you're over it, the brain remembers, and so like people may still have symptoms without even realizing it.
Well, and for Tony, surviving a tornado and seeing your whole life rip apart in front of you, are you taking care of yourself in the ways?
Absolutely. I actually had a pretty bad mental breakdown back in 2014 where I sought out a counselor, found one that worked with me very well. And I went through the whole process. I was good. After this happened, my first thing was like I got to call her. Let's get it. And she's in Chicago. She does, face the Zoom style and stuff like that. And I did it for every 2 weeks for about 2-3 months after that. And once I started getting a hang of it, I was back in my old self and stuff. But she is always there for me if I need it. And that was one of the best decisions I ever made in my life was to get that kind of help. So many people hold it in, and it just becomes a bomb at that point.
I really think the way we were always taught that you should schedule your dental appointment twice a year. We should also do a mental health checkup.
Oh, 100%. I would send the world to therapy right now if I could.
Yeah.
But even as a check-in, this is what we explain to couples. Even if you're doing great, like the person you are 5 years ago is very different than the person you are now. So it is a good idea to just do a check-in. How are we doing? Yeah. What changes can we make? But also just even for yourself, like I got some stuff going on, right? And usually, like in our intakes, we have to ask about, psychosocial stressors. Like, is there something in your life that's stressing you out? Number one response is politics, the world, can I emphasize that enough? It's like, it's too much.
It is a lot. We are in studio with our good friends. Now, good friend, I'm just going to count Chef Tony. He may not agree, but that's fine.
I 1,000% agree.
Chef Tony, the owner of Bite Club. Go to biteclubnoms.com. You can also pick up one of his books wherever you buy your books. Like I said, for example, is it available on book clubs? Bookstores. Wait, there's like an independent bookstore. I'll find it online because they support independent bookstores.
You could absolutely get it from Amazon. And then I know it has been distributed.
One more time.
I couldn't say a lot of words.
Distributed.
It has been distributed out to like Barnes and Noble and stuff like that. I kind of get excited every time I go into like Target and stuff, because I'm like always hoping to see it on the shelf and stuff like that.
I'm checking right now. So there's a website called bookshop.org that supports independent bookstores all over the country. They've raised over $48 million. So I'm typing you in to see if you're available on search for Bite Club. No, not on Bite Club. We'll have to get you on there, I think. Oh, there's a bunch of Bite Clubs. Now I have to. What's the rest?
There are so many Bite Clubs out there. It's
really.
I think I started something with that.
Exactly. We will find all the places, but you can definitely get it at Amazon. And I'm really excited about trying some of these recipes out. Dr. Suzana Flores. She specializes as a psychologist in trauma, anxiety, chronic pain, complex PTSD.
Correct.
And we're thrilled to have her in studio. The website is nola-wellness.net. Net. Why did I write note?
I
was writing notes to myself. Yeah, that was me writing it down. nola-wellness.net. Really, maybe I'm having an issue here.
Therapy?
nola-wellness.net. Nola's therapy? Hold on a second. I might have written everything down. I was trying to take it off my phone, and I want to make sure I get this right. It's nola-wellness.net.
Yes.
Yes. Let's take a break here. I promised phone calls. I know you're on hold. I'm coming to you right now. I promise. In just a moment. Thank you to everyone watching on WCPT, KKNW, KTNF, Monaco Brewing Company, Substack, Facebook, YouTube, and all our podcasts at heartlandsignal.com.
I am often asked, why is it important to have a living trust? The most important reason is control, being able to control where your investment accounts, retirement accounts, and your home go upon your passing. This is Tony Moret. I've been an estate planning lawyer here in the Chicago area for over 35 years. You have probably heard my ads here on WCPT over the last several years, and it has been a privilege to be on their airwaves. The reality is, for most people, their assets will go through a court-supervised process in probate court, which can be expensive and takes many months. Having a living trust will make sure this does not happen. Control of your assets will be handled directly by your trusted family member or friend. I will explain every step of the process to make sure you are comfortable with the plan as we move forward. Please call me at 847-996-0496 to start. There is no fee for the initial consultation and no obligation. Again, my phone is 847-996-0496. I look forward to speaking with you.
Hey Google, play WCPT.
Streaming Chicago's progressive talk from TuneIn.
Taking your calls now.
All right, let's hit it.
At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
We are driving it home, and joining me in the studio, guest co-host Dr. Suzana Flores. She is a psychologist, and you can turn to her for help at NOLA-wellness.net and click on the book appointment tab so that you can learn more information. Dr. Flores is also the author of Face Hooked as well as Untamed, which
it's Untamed, the Psychology of Marvel's Wolverine.
It's very exciting. And we also have Chef Tony in the studio with us, who has his book Bite Club, the official cookbook of the Bite Club Kitchens. He's the owner of Bite Club. Go to biteclubnoms.com to order any of his products, and go to Amazon or your local. Tell your local bookstores you want them to carry this.
I think they're going to start carrying it after this.
What was that?
They're going to start carrying it after this.
I think so. Great to hear. People freeze when they think they will be abused. They think they'll be beat up if they fight someone bigger and a lot more muscular. This is from, I'm reading a text. Then they think their friends and relatives will blame them for being somewhere alone with a person they barely know. There's a lot of these things. Yeah. Let's get to some of our calls. I'm going to take Al from Franklin Park. Al has some thoughts. Hey, Al, how are you doing today?
I'm doing pretty good. You know, a lot of you introduced me to a new word today, noms, and I hadn't heard that one before, and I didn't find it right away, but I was able to go to your page on Heartland Signal, and there was a link to noms bike club.
Yeah, excellent.
So I was able to find it, and
thank you.
So that was interesting. And I was going to talk a little bit about Facebook and just how toxic it can be.
Yes.
And what the one that was getting me today was the Obama Center, and they were just saying there's going to be some festivities at the Obama Center, and you get people in there that start talking, bad about Obama, talking bad about the center, making memes about it that look like toilet bowls and whatever else, and it is just really amazing because they want us, fighting each other on Facebook, and it you have to kind of work your way through that, and it fascinates. Well, it disturbs me because there's two opposite groups on Facebook. Those that are the conservatives or the MAGAs, and a lot of great people and great things going on. And you can sit there on Facebook and talk about family, talk with all of our good progressive websites with no problem. But then when the two cross, it opens a window to another world. And when you think about how much of that is existing on Facebook, and that's just an observation that we got to be aware of and figure out or work with, because and I know that you've seen a lot of that with your posts and everything going on, but and I guess your guest wrote a book on some of this.
Yes, I did. Yes, because our field was getting flooded with people experiencing a lot of anxiety because of Facebook. You know, and like I'll say this about Facebook, like, you know, in and of itself, like it's not good or bad. Like there's a lot of good with social media too. Yeah. Like it connects people, you get resources. You know, if you can't leave your house, you find friends that way. So, you know, people that never had a voice have a voice now. But it can also be extremely toxic, especially like, you know, when you get, you know, the haters and, you know, like people just trying to start the fight. It's very easy to fight, right, through a computer screen versus in person. You know, so people have a lot of what we call like cyber courage there, you know, and because they're not facing you in person.
Keyboard warriors.
Keyboard warriors, right.
And I mainly just ignore it, but every now and then you see it. And, it you know, you just think about, you know, Mark Zuckerberg and how they write their algorithms to make us all at each other's throats. And that's what drives me crazy. And in fact, it's kind of funny. The one meme I found on the Obama Center that I was going to look up disappeared because they do that auto refresh on you now and you forget where you were. And that's all just to keep us engaged, keep us looking for things, keep us getting ads. And when we're doing this on Facebook, we're not paying attention to, you know, the oligarchs, which are wanting us to do this and not understand it. They're the ones trying to control politics and affect us so much, and it's just crazy. And we got to figure this stuff out and make people aware of it.
I appreciate that.
Absolutely.
Thank you so much, Al. Great to hear from you as always. You have a good evening. Take care.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Yeah, sure.
Let's get to Chris in Romeoville. Chris, what's on your mind?
Earlier, the previous show was talking about this whole blue envelope thing. You're aware of that?
I am not. Run me through it. What's the blue envelope?
So they were saying about autistic people, if they're pulled over, they hand over a blue envelope to police officers or law enforcement so that they'll know that they have a condition.
Right. So this is the Harper Police launched Blue Envelope program in partnership with the Autism Hero Project. Oh, this just started. Go ahead.
So my concern is this, and I try to consider myself in the middle. And when you tell somebody that they have to tell somebody else that they're autistic or what law enforcement, where does it draw the line where if they're a legal citizen, if they're this or that, if, you know, so when people are for this, they're opening a door for something else to be where the slippery slope of, well, if you can say, hey, here's a blue envelope, I'm autistic, why can't you show somebody, hey, I'm a U.S. citizen? So
wait a minute. I'm sorry. Are you conflating? Hold on a second. Are you conflating somebody because? Do you understand why a driver who has autism would need to inform law enforcement of their condition?
No, I'm not trying to conflate that. I'm saying, but where do you draw the line where you have to tell law enforcement anything, whether you're handicapped, whether you're this?
So you're saying that people with autism shouldn't have to, so that they can protect themselves in the event that there is a misunderstanding as to how they're behaving erratically. That's my understanding of why it would be important for someone with autism to inform law enforcement that they may behave in a way they're not. You know, because there have been shootings of people with autism, them and their aides, because they're not responding the way law enforcement assumes people should. That's specifically to this. So why I'm not sure why you are bringing up, and when I say conflating, that means you're bringing up immigration and people who look Hispanic and what that they should provide. No, I'm asking if you're going to conflate. Why can't I conflate? I'm just asking.
No, I'm not trying to conflate. I'm saying, where do you draw the line? If somebody looks autistic, but they have to provide it, or if someone looks Hispanic, my point is this: if someone needs to provide something, then where do you draw the line if you open the door?
It's voluntary, but go ahead.
Yeah, that's what I was about to say. It's voluntary to help the officer out, so that he understands, right? I don't think it's a requirement. Am I understanding?
Yeah,
It's not a requirement. Mm-hmm. It's more like, hey, I have this, this is so that you could understand, so that I can, I may not be able to communicate in the way that you want me to communicate.
No, I understand, but it's opening the door for other things. Like if someone could say, hey, I'm autistic, then they're going to say, hey, I'm a U.S. citizen. So I just want it to be.
I don't think that this is the argument you want to make. It's not. There's no doors being opened here. This is entirely to make sure that law enforcement is safe, that an individual with autism is safe, that people who perhaps react differently to stressful situations, in particular people with autism, are safe. Thank you so much for calling and asking the questions. We have to take a break. That's really the reason we're going to pause here. But also, I don't think we're getting anywhere with that conversation. So thank you for calling. Dr. Suzana Flores joins us in studio, and our friend Chef Tony, who's the author of Bite Club. You can go to Bookshop. You are on bookshop.org. So we need to get your image on there too, by the way.
Okay.
So, that's
good to know.
Yeah. So we get that. You've got Bite Club, the official cookbook of the Bite Club kitchens, and that's available at bookshop.org. It's on sale right now for $20.49. Hardcover, $32.62.
Nice.
That sounds about right.
Yeah.
All right then. And Dr. Suzana Flores, you can go to. I don't know why I did that. Flores.
I like it. I like it. I like the accent.
A little bit of flair. I flick my hair and everything. Dr. Suzana Flores. You can go to nola-wellness.net and click on the book appointment tab right there. I will be back on WCPT. Jim, I'm taking your call next, I promise. More on WCPT, KKNW, and everybody watching digitally. We appreciate you. Thank you.
Amazon Business. Unlock smart business buying with fast, free delivery on millions of items and practical AI innovations that automate repetitive tasks. Learn more at AmazonBusiness.com.
AP News, I'm Ben Thomas. The U.S. and Iran exchanged more strikes today. John Gambrell reports U.S. Central Command said it struck 90 targets.
In Iran, they say at least one person has been killed, a firefighter who was responding to a strike at an airport in Iran-Shar. They also say bridges apparently were targeted again for the first time since this ceasefire has been put in place. President Trump had threatened to begin targeting infrastructure in Iran over its continued attacks on ships trying to go through the Strait of Hormuz through a route around Oman to the south. Tehran doesn't like that. It wants to control the Strait of Hormuz and decide what ships go through, potentially even charging fees.
Despite the hostilities, oil prices actually eased, Brent crude shedding 2.2%. On Wall Street, stocks rose. The Dow gained 139 points, or about 0.3%. The S&P up 0.8%, the Nasdaq 1.3%. And Ed Donahue has the latest on the prosecution of the suspect in the killing of Charlie Kirk.
A video played in a Utah court reveals the defendant in Charlie Kirk's killing told his roommate he wishes he hadn't done it the day after Kirk was shot in the neck while speaking to a crowd at Utah Valley University. Lance Twiggs, who was also Tyler Robinson's romantic partner, described the interaction with Robinson during a recorded interview with the prosecutor.
Did he talk about what he had done? Didn't go into detail. I just asked him in person if what he said was true the night before, and he said it was. I started crying a little bit and said he wishes he hadn't done it.
Prosecutors allege Robinson confessed in a note left for Twiggs that read, "I had the opportunity to take out Charlie Kirk, and I'm going to take it." Robinson also allegedly sent a text to Twiggs saying he targeted Kirk because he had enough of his hatred. A judge will decide if there is enough evidence to bring Robinson to trial. I'm Ed Donahue.
This is AP News. At the World Cup, France has beaten Morocco 2-0 to advance to the semi-finals. Meanwhile, FIFA's suspended an England player 2 games for a red card.
English defender Jarell Quansah will miss Saturday's quarterfinal against Norway and the next game if the Three Lions advance. The 2-game suspension comes after FIFA allowed American Folarin Balogun to play after his own red card, following President Trump stepping in. For England's Morgan Rogers, losing Quansah is a blow in defending against Norway's star.
Has anyone ever stopped Erling Haaland? I'm not sure they have, but we're going to try.
There is some good news for England. Mick Jagger will be in Miami to watch.
I'll be cheering for England.
Audio courtesy SNTV. I'm Sagar Meghani.
The latest at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
From the Weatherology Weather Center, I'm meteorologist Regina Cole. Areas of showers and storms will still be around for this evening with areas of fog developing too. Mostly cloudy skies, the low around 68. Areas of fog will still be around for Friday morning. Then after that, mostly cloudy skies. Temperatures top out around 81. Staying mostly cloudy as we look ahead toward Friday night, a low around 66. Sunshine is back for Saturday as temperatures top out around 84. Dipping back to 68 for Saturday night with passing clouds coming in. That's your latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 86 degrees.
Save big money on everything for your next project when you shop at Menards. Check out our huge selection of bagged concrete mixes. Whether you're pouring a walkway, a concrete slab, or setting a post, we have the right product at the best price to start your project today. Shop our entire selection of concrete mixes in store and on Menards.com. Plus, check out the weekly flyer for more great deals happening now.
Save big money at Menards.
The best words to hear at the TSA security checkpoint? You're good to go. All it takes is a little preparation. Get to the airport early, bring a carry-on bag that fits in the overhead, and have an acceptable ID. Not all state-issued IDs will cut it. Check out tsa.gov/ID and see which TSA acceptable IDs make the grade, like a real ID or passport.
Before you jet, do a little prep, and you're good to go. Check out tsa.gov/ID or the MyTSA app.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
Home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing asses says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue our conversation here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle. Of course, now our friends who are tuning in on KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. Everyone who's joining us digitally on Facebook, YouTube, and now Monaco Brewing Company Substack. Good to have you all here today for our conversation. Of course, you might be tuning in future times on our podcasts, which are all available on the Heartland Signal website, where you can also find our newsroom. Please follow our news team as they catch the stories that shape our democracy. So thrilled to have in studio with us. If you're wondering, you're watching, you're like, who are these people? I've never seen them before. Well, you have. You've seen Dr. Suzana Flores, who's joined us in studio today. She's a good friend of mine, and I've had a pleasure working with her, visiting in New Orleans. Made me fall in love. You helped make me fall in love with that city.
No, I'm glad.
Yeah, it was. I look forward to coming back someday. You guys are going down for the
red dress run, right?
Exactly.
Yeah. Maybe next year you'll join us.
I was actually looking at flights, but I don't think I'll be able to do it this year. But maybe next year. I would love to. And Chef Tony, who you met in New Orleans.
Well, right? No, we met on Facebook.
On Facebook. Oh,
and he helped us out with the Hot Ones Challenge.
That's so
cute. There is a good thing, though, the social media.
That is a good thing with social media. And I was like, hey, I have a guy. Apparently, I didn't know I had a guy, but I have a guy that can do this.
You got a spicy guy.
You're a Chicago girl. Southside. She's.
I'm a Chicago boy, too.
Well, we always got a guy. You got to have a guy. Where'd you grow up, Chef Tony?
Right across the street from Midway Airport.
Oh, wow. So you're a Southsider. All right. Yep. Okay. Also Southsider.
Southside.
My friend James Vickery is from that neck of the woods.
Okay.
And he said when he comes to this neighborhood, it kind of reminds him of that area. It sort of has that same sort of, right?
Yeah. When I was driving on the street to come here today, I was like, this almost looks like the end of Central and stuff like that. Yeah, it has that same kind of feel to it.
And similar, I was telling you when we pulled up that this neighborhood has 25% of law enforcement that works. The 16th district is considered the safest neighborhood in Chicago because most of the cops, firefighters all live here. Same thing is true of not like Mount Greenwood, like that area. A lot of cops and firefighters because they have to live in the city. But at any rate, Chef Tony has written the book Bite Club, the official cookbook of the Bite Club Kitchens, which is available wherever you buy your books, including bookshops.org, which raises a lot of money for local bookstores. They've raised over $48 million for local bookstores. So that's another place you can pick up your book, as well as the other traditional sites that you might go to. Dr. Flores has written 2 books as well, Face Hooked, as well as Untamed, the Psychology of Wolverine.
Of Marvel's Wolverine, yes.
I have to say of Marvel's Wolverine. I forget.
Yeah.
Apologies to the studios.
Yeah.
I'm sure they're hurting.
Disney will see.
Yeah, I'm sure they're very wounded. Right, yeah. I brought down Marvel just from that alone, right?
She's a psychologist who specializes cases in trauma, anxiety, chronic pain, complex PTSD, amongst other things that you might want to bring to your own attention and seek some care and just check in, maybe make an appointment. NOLA-wellness.net. Click on the book appointment button and learn more.
And then we can, I offer a free consultation.
And
so even if you just want to talk, right?
And we were talking earlier, Tony, about doing it by Zoom, doing the sessions. That was one of the things during COVID, because I had been going to therapists for years, and I loved telehealth. And I could do it in my car. I had to do it in my car because the people I want to talk about were in the house.
Okay.
I get that. I get that a lot. I do a lot of sessions in people's cars. Yeah.
And plus we're all comfortable in our cars. It's our space.
Yeah.
You know?
Right.
I want to introduce you to one of my favorite callers. I love all my callers. This caller reminds me of my dad. If my dad was a liberal who grew up on the west side of Chicago, my dad was a northwest side conservative. But here's Jim on the line. Jim, I'm sorry to keep you waiting so long. What's on your mind, my friend?
That's all right. A comedian, a chef, and a doc. We're in a boat.
Yeah.
You think you were in Lake Michigan when the earthquake hit the other day?
There was an earthquake in Lake Michigan, Dr. Flores. Did you hear about this?
No, we did not.
Yeah, 2.7, I think.
Wow.
Yes. Just the last couple of days. Yep. Go ahead, Jim.
You would have to hold on to the oars with that one. Anyway, I'm going to regress back to the 60s. USAID was instituted by Jack Kennedy. The Republicans have thrown it over a cliff. We've saved just in this decade from 2000, 91 million people have been saved. They threw it over a cliff. Then we continue. Of course, his brother-in-law had the Peace Corps. And then on to Johnson after his assassination, the food program, HUD housing, the Civil Rights Act. I thought that as a young man that the sky was the limit. And now we have a party complete regression, throwing all this stuff out the window for austerity. I mean, if this was happening in France, they'd go insane. They'd go mad. But we're taking this like it was, we'll let people starve. We'll let homeless people walk around. We'll go without health care. They had a girl on yesterday. She's got a special needs child, 3 kids, working a job and a half. They're cutting her food stamps down to some incredible amount where she could never live on it. And just the anxiety of going through that day after day after day. And then the paperwork is so onerous that you'd have to be Rip Van Winkle to do it.
You're right.
Yeah, I mean, this is to repair this stuff. We need generations of the Democratic Party back in power. That's all there's to it. There's no other way to do it. I mean, I lived through the 60s, and please believe me, I went to college. My student loan was from the bank, a guy in the neighborhood in the bank. It was no interest on the loan. It was, I mean, you could get a job anywhere. You could, this is, I don't know what to say about this period. This period is complete regression from the 60s. That's all I can say. And I can't believe we can go backwards this fast.
You know what? You raise a really good point because, like, in like, I don't know, a decade or 2 decades, just 2 decades ago, like people like, they would say like, here's a statement. I feel like I'm in survival mode. In current day, you are in survival mode. And I've helped my patients navigate, like paperwork or like a restraining order or whatever the case may be. And, all of these, processes, like, if you need extra, like you need help, financial help, you need to go to food bank, you have to like, whatever. It is hard. Like I've had myself and, staff at prior places of employment help one patient alone. So I'm like, if it takes me 2 hours or 3 hours, right, to navigate disability papers or navigate whatever, like, how is it going to happen for other people? Right. How do other people do this?
And the anxiety in that individual that you're dealing with, think of it, their whole existence is tied into this. I mean, that's a very weird place to be. I mean, you're talking to somebody, and when he walks out that office door, is he sure that he can survive another week or 2 weeks or whatever the case may be?
Sometimes no.
Yeah, but I mean, I lived in the decade in the 60s. I didn't see that. I didn't see any homeless people. I didn't see any immigrants being shot in the street. Or I didn't see any of that. And now there's 13 million people in America with a green card. Now they got to sweat that out. They don't know where to go. They can make one traffic stop, and this one guy, this Jamaican, who's been on Chicago television, he's been in the country for 35 years. He's married to a lovely gal, and she phoned him at the prison. He's been to 3 different prisons. He's been in prison for 6 months. Nicest guy in the world. And the conversation was out, what do you eat? He goes, are you kidding? He lost 25 pounds. It's absolutely torture. And the Geo Group are making millions and millions when they're visiting the austerity on the United States. It can't stand, and it won't stand. Anyway, thanks for letting me go on. Thank you, guys.
Thanks,
Have a
Jim.
good night.
Thank you.
Thank you.
You see what I mean? Chicago guy.
Oh, yeah.
Over by there. That's everything.
I love Jim.
And I love Jim too. We've been talking about a little bit about trauma. We've been talking about seeking mental health supports. Also, resilience is something. I mean, rebuilding your whole life and coming back. And by the way, we haven't even talked about the book you're releasing called "Everybody's an Effing A-hole."
Yeah,
I think I did that.
I was like, "Is she gonna do it? Is she gonna do it?" Right? I was like,
pause, and I had to make a choice. I had to make a choice, but I went with that one. Cool.
So there's like an edited
copy.
Yeah, it's not the final.
To it.
Yeah, it's got. I made belly bands.
Okay.
For them because before it started gaining steam, I was like, okay, for local bookstores to carry this, I'm gonna have to slap a belly band on it.
Right.
So,
that looks great. That's fantastic. The unhappiness equation, the literal psychological formula explaining why so many people are miserable and determined to drag you down with them. Yeah.
I did a lot of research. I'm kind of coming into my third stage of life, my third chapter, outside of the cooking. Now
you're like 40 and you're in your third stage? What's
I was like, wow, I'm old.
First off. Thank you.
I was like, wow, do we have to go there? Right?
Julia Childs didn't publish her first cookbook till her early 50s, I think. So it's never too late to start. And I just, because of the tornado and stuff like that, I just found a whole new passion for writing and stuff. And I started really deep diving into the brain and find out why everyone is a effing a-hole, out there. And especially in this political environment, it is just like, it is brazen at this point. It's not even like subtle. And it started as a joke because every Friday I host like these little dinners for family and friends. And people always talk about their days and their weeks and stuff like that. And they'd be like, oh yeah, I met this, total a-hole and stuff like that. And I started the joke was like, oh, I'm just going to write a book and I'm just going to call it this. And then I started like really digging into the psychology of it, breaking down the brain and digging into it and finding out, okay, is there a reason we are so, like, everyone's such a noise hole? Yeah, let's go with that. Freaking noise hole. Let's go with that. It just spiraled from there, and I just kept going with it. I know Suzanne has actually read it. And
I have, as a psychologist, I'll tell you, the guy did his homework.
Yeah.
So I was like, yep. I'm like, check, it's good.
So yeah, I'm very, very excited about it. I put a lot of work into that, and I can't wait till it comes out. And hopefully a publisher or an agent will pick it up. Like I said, I think it's going to be on the desk, hopefully. So send me all the good vibes you can.
Absolutely.
To get it picked up, because I love having writer as well as chef. In my title. So.
Writer and chef, and of course the other.
Well, you are.
Yeah, you are.
Thank you.
The other book is Bite Club, the official cookbook of the Bite Club Kitchens, available at available at bookshops.org, as well as Amazon and Barnes and Noble. You can also go to biteclubnoms.com for the products from Bite Club, which is very exciting. We've been eating some of the. You have beef jerky. You've got
no. So actually, when I reopened, because of meat prices, even my butcher can't get me the prices they can. So I had to make a sacrifice on opening, and I was just like, look, I know I started on the whole beef jerky thing, but I have to cut it, or I have to charge my customers like $15-18 for a bag of jerky, and I will not do that to my customers. So I had to drop it, unfortunately. So now we make sauces, barbecue sauces, hot sauces.
Dill, I just had some of the dill pickle, and that's fantastic.
Yeah, my dill pickle hot sauce is one of my best sellers, as well as my cherry bomb. I make treats like the bourbon caramel corn you're enjoying and such. I used to make pet treats as well, all organic pet treats.
Nice.
So But I don't know if I'm going to continue that. But yeah, definitely sauces. Dry rubs. I make dry rubs like crazy.
Oh.
So a whole bunch of.
You like people rubbing their meat? I get you.
Yeah.
Rub your meat, baby.
Yeah.
Just saying.
Yeah. Just rub it.
This is turning into a whole other show.
I know.
Yeah.
Amazing work.
Can I get that zip again?
Yeah. Here we go.
Chef Tony, let's take a break here. I also want to thank our sponsors for making sure that we have these conversations, including Source Solar. Go to source.solar, make an appointment with Tony Sorellis. Maybe it's time to get solar panels on your house or business. He'll walk you through the entire process. And there's right now a program in Illinois, Solar for All, to help you with the financing. Go to source.solar and learn more. Pride Coffee Roasters, thank you so much for your support for the WCPT Pride Parade float. Go to pridecoffeeroasters.com and put in an order for some of the best single origin roasted to order coffee beans you will ever have. Patty and Jackie will be at the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, as will I. That's Jefferson Park Sunday Market here on the Northwest Side at Lawrence and Long. We also want to thank our friends at Social Change. Go to socialchange.site and support the work that they do to make happier, healthier, safer communities throughout the country, in particular in our Chicagoland area and Atlanta, Los Angeles, a lot of places. We also want to thank our friends at Berman Auto, the Berman Kia and Subaru. Thank you for your support, for supporting the Pride Parade float this year for WCPT. Let's take a break here and continue our conversation. You can text us at 773-763-9278. You can call. We only have a little bit of time because I've got another interview coming up in just a moment. More with our guest, Dr. Suzana Flores, in studio. You can go to NOLA-wellness.net and click on that book appointment tab to learn more. We'll be right back after this, everybody. Thank you for joining us.
Latinos have been here always, before, during, and after the founding of the United States. We are small business owners, teachers, farm workers, doctors and engineers, families raising the next generation. Latinos contribute over $4 trillion to America's GDP. We are an indelible part of the American story. We are America. America is us. Learn more by going to americasus.org and discover how Latinos have shaped America's past and are forging its future.
It's 4 words no parent should ever hear. Your child is sick. It's 4 words that change everything. Those 4 words can define a family. It's 4 words that are filled with pain, heartache, and grief. And with those 4 words, the innocence and joy of childhood disappears. But Starlight has taught us 4 other words that make all the difference. The power of play. Healing begins with happiness. That's why Starlight Children's Foundation delivers happiness through gaming, toy deliveries, and more to 3 million kids at more than 700 hospitals across the country to deliver happiness when it matters most. Learn more at starlight.org.
All right, son. Time to put out this campfire.
Dad, we learned about this in school.
Oh, did you now? Okay. What's first?
Smokey Bear said to.
First, drown it with a bucket of water, then stir it with a shovel.
Wow, you sound just like him.
Then he said,
if it's still warm, then do it again.
Where can I learn all this?
It's all on SmokeyBear.com with other wildfire prevention tips. Because only you can prevent wildfires.
Brought to you by the USDA Forest Service, your state forester, and the Ad Council.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Well, it has been a delight hanging out with my guests in studio, Dr. Suzana Flores. Again, you can go to NOLA-wellness.net. She's a psychologist who specializes in chronic pain, trauma, complex PTSD, anxiety. Again, that's NOLA-wellness.net to learn more about the work that she does. And just click on that book appointment tab so that you can schedule some. Could you do like an intake, sort of a consultation to see if it's a good fit?
So first time, it's just like a 30-minute, like no obligation, no nothing. I don't need anything else. We're just talking, right? And so like just to see if it's a fit. And if it's not a fit, then I can refer someone, to another. Get some information. And like I said, we're just talking and then we come up with a plan.
Excellent. So again, folks, it's NOLA-wellness.net. And let's be honest, we're all going through some stress, anxiety.
There is some stuff.
There are some things. Chef Tony, the author, he's a writer. He's written the book Bite Club, the official book club of the Bite Club Kitchens, available wherever you buy your books, in particular bookshops.org, Amazon.com, Barnes & Noble. And he's got a book that is soon to come out.
Yes.
Everyone is a effing
a-hole. Yes.
Yeah, everyone's nervous about me. And you live in Indianapolis?
Yeah, I moved to Indianapolis back in 2023. Longtime Chicago resident, but it was time for a change.
Yeah.
So.
Do you drive back tonight, or?
Yeah.
Oh,
I'll be driving back tonight.
All right, we'll get you filled up with some food at Paterno's down the street.
Sounds good.
I want to make sure everyone knows about the shows coming up tomorrow. Tomorrow on Choose Views, Virginia Lieutenant Governor Ghazla Hashimi is going to be joining him. I'm hoping I'm saying that right. I'm guessing not. Karen Byrne of the True Blue Politics podcast. By the way, Karen will be featured on Monaco Brewing Company this Saturday morning with her latest column. And Amy McDonald, the host of The Foolish Optimist with Amy McDonald. Choose Views tomorrow, 6 to 8 a.m. Also on Jonas Bazito's show, Ray Suarez, broadcast journalist and author of We Are Home, Becoming American in the 21st Century. And Mark Ducat, the Illinois poet laureate and distinguished writer in residence at DePaul University. That's tomorrow on Live, Local, and Progressive. I will have the Honorable Jill Rose Quinn, the first trans judge to be elected in the state of Illinois. She's a Cook County Circuit Judge. Really thrilled to have her on the show. My phone rang last week, and it was from her, and I was nervous. I'm like, am I missing a court date? What's happening? She called to thank me for a piece I also wrote on Monaco Brewing Company publications. Meryl Miller, the manager of the Jefferson Park Sunday Market, will also join us. And the interview I told you about with Jen Schroeder, she's an advocate for professionals over 45, will join me, and Martha Conway with a great book called it's about these two. You would love it. We have to go. I've got no time left. Thank you everybody for tuning in tonight. We've got a great interview coming up in just a moment with Suzana Karatassos, who's running for State House in Georgia. Ooh. Thank you, Henry. Bye, everybody.
Welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150 in Seattle, KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul, and of course, all of our friends who are tuning in digitally on Facebook, on YouTube, and now on Monaco Brewing Company's Substack. Please consider subscribing wherever you're tuning in, and maybe share with your friends and family so they can join the conversation too. I am very excited to introduce our next guest. Georgia has an open house seat and a fight brewing over one word: affordable. Our next guest says the state she came home to isn't the one she left. Suzana Karatassos. Oh no, Suzana. I've said your name wrong already. I should have practiced it more. I practiced it before. Suzana Karatassos. Is that right, Suzana?
Yeah.
Okay, excellent.
Karatassos.
Grew up in Athens. She built a career in fashion, worked overseas, then came back after COVID to raise her daughter close to family. What she found, she says, is a Georgia where working people are getting squeezed out of their own communities. So now she's running for State House in District 120. That's the seat Republican Houston Gaines is leaving to run for Congress. She's a Democrat. The general election is in November. Suzana, thank you so much for being patient with me on your name. And welcome to Driving It Home. Are you staying hydrated?
Yeah, it's so hot here. All we do is just drink water all day.
Yeah, you got to take care of yourself. It's part of the self-care. Tell us about when you left Georgia, built this whole career, you were working overseas, and then you came home. Tell us what you saw when you came back and made you decide to run.
Yeah, so after I came back, we moved overseas to get away from Trump in his first term, honestly. And then when we came back, we weren't expecting him to win again in 24. And we felt like he won because the Republican Party told a whole lot of lies and spread a whole lot of propaganda during Biden's term. And that's why they won. And I felt like the Democrats didn't do a good job of messaging all of their wins and all of the great legislation that Biden got passed. And the Republicans did do a good job of being on social media and spreading their propaganda. And Trump was just nonstop on the airwaves telling lie after lie after lie. And that's how they got elected in 24. And, 77 million Americans bought the lie. And that really, really angered me. And the fact that everyone who voted for him and the rest of us are now having to live through everything that he's doing, the total chaos and, the high prices and the not delivering on any of his promises. So I started doing political content creation because I felt like Democrats failed in getting our message out there. So I thought, okay, I'm going to start doing that. I'm going to flip the script on them, and I'm going to go on social media, and I'm going to tell the truth, and I'm going to call them liars, and, tell things for what they are, because I feel like there was not enough of that on the internet. So everything I was seeing in Georgia was just sort of like a mini version of what was happening in DC. They're passing the big, beautiful bill in DC. They're cutting Medicaid. They're cutting SNAP benefits. They're passing tax cuts for the ultra wealthy. And they're basically just doing the exact same thing in Georgia. The Republicans have had control in Georgia for 20 straight years. And all they do is pass legislation for the ultra wealthy, for the corporations. They're letting data centers overrun our state. They refuse to expand Georgia Medicaid, which only like 5 states in the entire country have done that. It's just absolutely absurd. They refuse to raise our minimum wage, which is $5.15 an hour.
What?
Well, yeah, it's well below the federal minimum wage. It's the lowest in the country. And a lot of jobs do have to adhere to the $7.25 federal, but there are also many jobs like agricultural jobs, small businesses that have less than 6 employees that can go with the $5.15 an hour. So yeah, our state minimum wage is the lowest in the country. It's completely ridiculous. They're cutting education funding. They're not picking up where Trump has cut all the agriculture deals that Biden made in the infrastructure package. So farms are going out of business here. The suicide rate of farmers is the highest it's ever been in Georgia. There's just endless problems, and we're getting priced out of our lives. And the housing crisis is especially bad in Georgia as far as corporations buying up single family homes and people just getting priced out of their homes. So there is a really good reason to everyone in Georgia to vote for change this year, to vote for something different. And I consider myself a progressive. There's been a lot of, these new people coming into office, like the Mamdanis and the Democratic Socialists. I mean, I wouldn't really call myself a socialist. I'm a progressive, though. And we need change in Georgia. We don't need just the same old thing of maybe Democrats win, but nothing really changes. Like, we need people who actually care and are not in this for the money or the backdoor deals, or they just want to get in office so they can sit back and do nothing. I am only running because I want to expand Georgia Medicaid. Like, nothing would give me more pleasure than having 400,000 people in Georgia all of a sudden be able to get health insurance. So yeah, that's why I'm running, and that's what I saw in Georgia when I got back.
Amen, sister. I mean, and what do you talked about all the things that are happening to Georgia, whether it's education and healthcare, minimum wage, all these elements that are really, destroying people's lives, and holding them back from, the promises that we just talked about over the 4th of July, life, liberty, and the pursuit of happiness. What is it, you were talking about social content creators and the way Republicans do messaging, which, is it the sort of marginalizing people, putting targets on people, whether it's the trans community, the LGBTQ, people of color? Do you find that that's part of the manipulation that helps people go, well, as long as I can hate those people, I'll just take whatever crap they're serving over here? Is that part of it?
Oh, yeah, that's certainly part of it. They're giving the MAGAs someone to hate, and that is obviously the immigrants, trans people, the whole LGBT community, and obviously abortion. Those are the three main things, that they choose. They're saying, I hate these things more than I like having health insurance.
Yes.
Then they're choosing to hate that over choosing to be able to afford their lives, which is completely insane to me. And there are some voters that we will never be able to reach, and it's not even really worth talking to them. But there are plenty of people who voted for him who are now regretting it. And they live in Georgia, and they're reasonable people, and they are not happy with the Iran war. They are not happy with the gas and food prices. They're not happy with the tariffs. They're not happy with a million things. And those are the people we're reaching out to, the persuasion voters, the independents, maybe the Democrats who were, upset because COVID made everything so expensive, which was not anyone's fault. I mean, any specific party's fault. It just happened, but since it happened kind of under Biden's term, I think a lot of people associated him with it. Mm-hmm. And that was the messaging that Trump and the Republicans were so successful on. They blamed everything on Biden, and that really struck home for a lot of people. And when I say Democrats failed, it's because Biden and Kamala should have gotten the message across so much better. Like, we just passed this infrastructure deal. This is happening in this state. This is happening in this state. And I just feel like they didn't push it hard enough. Like Trump's getting his signature on the $20 bill or whatever. He's getting his signature on the Social Security card. He's starting this Trump account for children for $1,000 or whatever. He's putting his name on everything. And I'm not saying they should have put their name on everything, but they should have pushed it so much harder than they were. And as far as social media goes, the Republicans have been paying content creators for several years now to push their agenda, daily talking points. The Democratic Party, the DNC, does not do that. I've been a political content creator for the Democrats for years, and no one has ever reached out to me with talking points, with like an offer, like to pay me in any way. Like, that just does not exist on the Democrat side. And that is crazy. I mean, it should be happening on the Democrat side. We should have content creators working for the DNC, pushing our message. So I think that was just a failure. And I was like, well, I'm just going to do it on my own. I'm just going to push the message of truth out and call these people what they are. And my following jumped up. I mean, I got a pretty huge following really fast on TikTok. And now I've expanded to Facebook and Instagram. And people really like what I had to say. And then after he won again in 24, I was like, I can't just sit back and talk. I'm going to run for something. And Houston, I looked into it, and my district, Houston, was running for higher office. And I was like, well, it's an open seat. Like, let's do this.
Amazing. We are talking to Suzana Karatassos. I got it. Suzana Karatassos, who grew up in Athens, Georgia. She's running for House District 21, the House seat in District 21. 120. Suzana, I said we were going to do one 12-minute segment, but you were so fired up. I'm wondering if you have time to indulge us with another segment.
Yeah, we can stay a little longer. That's fine.
Excellent. Let's take a quick break here, and we'll come back with our guest, Suzana Karatassos. Karatassos.
Karatassos, yeah.
Karatassos grew up in Athens, and we are so thrilled to have her on the line. What's your handle on TikTok and Facebook and all places?
Suzana for Georgia.
Suzana for Georgia. We're going to take a break here and continue our conversation because I have more questions. Definitely want to talk about data centers, tariffs. You mentioned agriculture. I got so many questions. Let's take a break here and come back in just a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KTNF AM 950 Minneapolis, St. Paul. We also have our friends who are tuning in Seattle on KKNW and our friends on digital. Thank you so much for hanging out with us. We'll be back in a moment.
Choose Views with Richard Chew.
I just want to say you guys are so lucky there with Devin and Whitney and Mike and, of course, Henry, Matt. You guys have such a great crew there. They don't just know how to push the buttons and move the levers. These young people give me hope for the future of this country because they are some of the smartest younger people that I know.
Richard Chew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820.
Hi, Matt McNeil here. Well, this sucks. Trump 2.0 is a disaster packaged in a nightmare, wrapped in incompetence, smelling like hot sewage, and delivered like a ball-peen hammer to the nether region. So, as expected, sometimes it can be tough to figure out whose constitutional rights are being violated in any given hour. So listen to my show, The Matt McNeil Show, as I sort through the crimes against humanity, usually cracking a joke or two along the way. It's The Matt McNeil Show, 9 p.m. weekday evenings right here on WCPT 820, Chicago's Progressive Talk.
Many of our U.S. veterans and service members face challenges: mental health struggles, housing obstacles, employment, food insecurity, and social isolation, to name just a few. I'm Bob Woodruff. My family and I started the Bob Woodruff Foundation in 2006 after I sustained a life-threatening injury while reporting from Iraq. Our service members had my back that day, and we need to have theirs now more than ever. At the Bob Woodruff Foundation, we raise awareness about the tough challenges veterans and military families face and invest in solutions to help support them in the next chapter of their lives. And with one solution comes the next. We solve the housing situation, we increase employment opportunities. We solve employment problems, we address food insecurity. We solve food insecurity, we impact physical and mental health issues. Learn more about our work at bobwooderfoundation.org/success.
When you get a diagnosis of Parkinson's disease, things get real.
And nobody understands that better than the Parkinson's Foundation. We provide resources and support because there are things you can do to improve your quality of life. So, whether you're newly diagnosed, have been living with Parkinson's, or caring for a loved one,
Find real answers at the Parkinson's Foundation.
Go to parkinson.org or call our helpline at 1-800-4PD-INFO.
WCPT 820, Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter.
No detours, no distractions, just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us. We continue our drive home here on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal, KKNW 1150, KTNF AM 950, and all of our friends tuning in digitally. Please consider subscribing to our show. And you can also check out our show's podcast on heartlandsignal.com. We are talking to someone who has decided to take matters in her own hand. She's fired up. She's getting me fired up. I love talking to Suzana Karatassos, who is running for the House seat in District 120, a seat that a Republican is currently holding. That's Houston Gaines, and he's leaving for Congress. She's a Democrat and a progressive. And seriously, I want to talk about one thing you mentioned about how Democrats aren't great at, basically championing the successes, right? And to your point about construction sites and infrastructure, whether it was, getting more people covered on health care. President Obama had the same thing. It was almost like this, I don't know if it's not even humble. It's like, well, we did it. We don't have to sing about it. I agree with you. There should have been at every construction site brought to you by President Biden. Do you know what I mean? Every construction site should have had a billboard on it. Did you see today that the federal government has opened up 25 federal gas stations to deliver? I just saw this story. Did you see this?
I did see that. I just saw that this morning too, and they're the Trump gas stations, right?
Yeah. And exactly to your point, he slaps his name.
I read. Right. I saw someone reporting on it, and they were saying that they're more expensive, though. So I don't know if it's actually a good thing for him.
I hope so. I really hope so. Because everything he touches is a disaster. Now, at any rate, let's talk about you, because you are not a disaster. I have to imagine, because I know there's news stories coming out of Georgia. I think it was schools and people in their homes being told to turn their power off because the data centers needed more power. Is this happening in your community?
Not at my house, but yeah, it's happening all over Georgia because of the heat wave, and everyone's just running their AC. I mean, it is psychotically hot here. It's been in the upper 90s and feels like 115. So people, it's not even safe to go outside. So people are just running their electricity at the highest levels, and they're putting out things that saying put your AC at 78 and don't run it all day. And meanwhile, we're just building data center after data center, sucking up insane amounts of power and water. And meanwhile, everyone that they build, Republicans are giving them tax breaks to come here, and they're giving them electric bill breaks. And Georgia Power is literally distributing their power bill break to the rest of us. So we are picking up the tabs for the data centers. It is awful.
What a nightmare.
And the CEO of Georgia Power is making $7 million a year.
Oh, come on.
So, me and a lot of other really great progressive candidates are running, and we're all of one mind that we need to get the profits out of utility companies, and we need to get the profits out of the healthcare industry. Rick Jackson, who is running for governor against Keisha Lance Bottoms, the Republican Rick Jackson, he is a billionaire from the healthcare industry. That's how he made his billions. And I do not believe that the for-profit system of healthcare in this country is viable. And we're the only country in the world that does this. And we have worse health outcomes than any other, similar country in the world. And we pay twice as much. And it's just a ridiculous system that we have. And the reason they make so much money is because they keep us sick so that they can make more money off us staying sick. So we have to get over to a government-run healthcare system where we set prices, we have to regulate it. And, you know, I'm not against capitalism, but we have to make sure everyone has food, water, shelter, and healthcare. And then after that, make as much money as you want. You know, just a regulated system. That's all.
Isn't it amazing how they want? And I know this is a quote from, I believe, Martin Luther King Jr., who said that there's capitalism for the poor and the working class, and socialism for the wealthy. Because you mentioned the tax breaks for the power for the data centers and things like that. They have their hand out all the time, and yet it's the families, it's the farm workers, it's the teachers, it's people who are struggling with affordability. So tell us what unaffordability right now is looking like in your area, in your community, in your district.
Okay, so I have some good stats on this. In the past 10 years, the wages have gone up 10% in Georgia. 10%. But the cost of living has gone up 35%. And the cost of housing has gone up 120%.
What?
In Georgia, yep. So we are getting priced out of our lives. And the issue, obviously, is wages. They don't go up. And there's no regulation on corporations or business owners on how much they have to pay their employees, compared to like the CEO pay or whatever. There's just no regulation on that. So we have to make life more affordable in other ways, like healthcare, like childcare, like social programs. Like we have to start regulating in other ways too, because we can't regulate how much people are paying their employees. So we have to step in, because people cannot afford to live. People can't even afford apartments. A 700 square foot apartment is $2,500 a month. And, it's completely insane. Athens, Georgia is a very popular place, and people cannot afford to live there. So they're having to move, well outside of Athens and commute. And, on top of that, they're letting all the rural hospitals close. Mm-hmm. So people are having to commute very far, even for emergency services. There's just so many things. On top of that, we've got the 6-week abortion ban, which is causing the maternal mortality rate to rise, the infant mortality rate to rise, coupled with the rural hospitals closing. There's gynecological deserts all over the state. It's just getting worse and worse and worse. And the fact that in this last session, for the state house, the main things they were concerned with is protecting Confederate statues and the racial gerrymandering of, redistricting, because of the Supreme Court gutting the Voting Rights Act. Like, they're just focused on all the wrong things. And I've had enough. I know I'm not the only one. So, it's just total chaos. And I think the Republicans have just proven that they do not care about the people of Georgia. All they care about is the ultra wealthy. And I think the people of Georgia have had enough.
I hope so. I mean, is that? I'm guessing you're having events, you're knocking on doors. What are some? I mean, are you getting some of the FAFO? You mentioned that there are, the persuadables. What are they saying? There's lifelong Republicans. You mentioned abortion as being, one of the things that, as long as I get my, as long as women can't have autonomy over their own bodies, I don't care what else happens. Essentially, are you seeing wavering in those parts of the party?
When you're knocking on doors, abortion doesn't really come up that much. I would say that comes up more like online, arguing with people on social media. As far as like face-to-face conversations, it's always about healthcare and housing and groceries and gas. Those are the main things that come up. And yes, people are wavering hardcore because of all that stuff. And I have had so many people when I'm out knocking in doors in the rural areas of my district that are saying, I've never had a Democrat come to my house. Like, thank you so much. This means the world. And yeah, I'm going to vote for you. Like, I can't stand Trump, and not that Trump is directly involved with Georgia politics or anything, but a lot of them are just, connecting him to the Republican Party in Georgia, which they well should, because the Georgia Republicans have not spoken out against Trump in any way. They haven't spoken out against the big billionaire bill. Like they don't speak out about the tariffs. They're just or the Iran war. They're just letting him run roughshod over the country. And so they're basically just condoning it. So they're right to blame the Republican Party of Georgia for everything Trump is doing. So I'm fine with that, you know. But yeah, the affordability thing is getting completely ridiculous. The middle class is just evaporating.
Yep.
And people don't like that. Regular people working jobs, so they have union jobs, like whatever, they do not like the feeling that they're not middle class anymore, you know, that they're getting pushed down into something like lower class or whatever. Like they just don't like that idea. And I completely understand it.
Absolutely. God, I love how energetic you are, how angry you are. And I'm sure, like as you mentioned, how angry people in your community are. Those numbers are staggering to me. The fact that when you mentioned that it's been a 10% increase in wages, but 110 increase in housing affordability. And that's a nationwide problem, which was exacerbated by COVID. You know, we knew that there was going to be a lot of problems. And also, like, how is funding for education? Are you guys a charter school state? Is there also money being diverted from public education in ways that other red states are?
Yes, there is money being diverted into charter schools, but also they just cut education funding. And we're very low in teacher pay as well. I think the average pay is like $45,000 a year. So we've got to get that up. And we're doing okay as far as like the Hope Scholarship goes, but still there's not enough college tuition funding. There's not enough trade school funding. There is not enough funding for the public education. They do the vouchers for the private schools, you know, and I don't agree with that. If you're going to private school, then you do not need taxpayer dollars supplied to the private schools. That needs to go to the public schools. And then the Republicans are also doing everything they can to cut property taxes. Which, you know, your local property taxes fund your local public schools. And they just don't seem to have a plan for that or care at all that public schools are just keep getting defunded. It's hard to even know exactly what their plan is. I guess it's just, if you're poor, you just don't get an education, you don't have health care, and you're just screwed, basically. And that is just unacceptable. That is completely unacceptable. And we're not going to stand for it, you know? Do you have any rural parts? And you mentioned agriculture. Would that be part of your district? But obviously, as a state legislator, you'd be fighting for everybody. I'm just wondering, you mentioned the rate of suicide amongst farm owners and farmers, people who maybe had generational land and now, are standing to lose those businesses. Tell us a little about that landscape. Yeah, so I do have a bit of agriculture in my district. Jackson County and Barrow County is kind of the rural areas of my district, and it is some farmland, not a ton. It's not a huge district, but so when Biden passed the bipartisan infrastructure deal, there was a ton of agriculture deals in there. So it meant that he was making deals with the farmers that you do all these upgrades to your farm, and the government will basically reimburse you through the Department of Agriculture. And then when Trump got in office the second time, he cut all of those deals. So a lot of farms had already spent their money to upgrade, and then their deals just got cut. So they're not getting reimbursed. So that is one reason that farmers are having such a hard time, on top of the tariffs, which, bankrupted so many different products, like obviously soybeans, corn. I'm not sure exactly all the different ones, but soybean was a major one. We lost like $2 billion a year in agriculture soybeans, and there are soybean farmers in Georgia. And so it's just one thing after another with these farmers, and the tariffs not only affect their selling of their crops, but it's also in getting like the parts for their machinery.
Yep.
Because they got to get them shipped in from Canada, from Mexico. And so they're also just getting priced out of their jobs. And it's hard for them to compete with maybe like the really big farms. It's just not good for anyone. Republican policy has proven to be a failure on every single front. Look at the jobs numbers, that's coming out every month. They're absolutely abysmal. Just compared to what they are under a Democratic president. We're bringing in, Biden's bringing in multiple millions every year, and Trump's barely breaking 100,000 in 2025. Like it's, I mean, the numbers speak for themselves. I don't understand why anyone is saying like, yeah, let's keep voting Republican. It's good for the economy. No, it is not. There's no data metric that you can look at in America that would say, yeah, Republicans are good for the economy.
Oh, but who has time to look at the truth? I'm so glad that you're in this fight. We've been talking to Suzana Karatassos, who is running for the House District 120, Athens, Georgia. You've got let folks know. Give your minutes pitch as to why you're running for office, what you're going to do for people, however long it takes you. But I know that you're on a tight schedule, and I appreciate you being flexible with joining us. And then let them know how they can help you, because people all over the country, they might not live in Athens, Georgia, but we definitely want good Democrats in good places helping people all over.
Yeah. So I'm Suzana Karatassos. I'm running for House District 120 in Athens, Georgia. I'm a progressive Democrat. I am running for an open seat. Houston Gaines, the Republican, is running for higher office, and he's been in that seat for several cycles. So this is the year to flip my district blue. And Georgia is also brinked to flip blue this year in the midterms. We only need to flip 10 districts out of 180 to take back the legislative majority in the state house. And if we can do that, we can start passing so much legislation that needs to happen here. I'm running on, expanding Medicaid, raising the minimum wage, expanding education funding, overturning the abortion ban, common sense gun reform, obviously climate change legislation, which the Republican Party doesn't even have a platform on that. They're acting like it's not happening. And I mean, look at what's happening this month. It's just completely insane. We need to focus on renewable energies. We need to focus on solar panels everywhere. Like there has to be such an investment in solar. And, Trump is out here literally cutting all the solar and wind like manufacturing that he possibly can. And that is just psychotic to me. So Georgia basically, under Democratic rule, once we get back the House, has to just combat everything Trump is doing in order to protect Georgia from the chaos of DC. But I do believe that U.S. Congress is going to flip blue this year as well. And we, so in the primary, I ran unopposed in the primary, but I got more votes in the primary than any other Democrat ever has in my district by a lot. And I got more votes in my Republican opponent by quite a bit as well. And this district has been a solid 60-40 Republican district for many cycles in a row. And during the primary, I already moved the needle 5 points to the left.
Wow.
Yeah. And that's without even asking for a vote, because whenever I've been canvassing and calling and all that, I've been telling everyone I need your vote in the midterm. I'm not even mentioning the primary because I was unopposed, So we did really, really well in the primary. And we are well on our way to flipping this seat, because we are knocking doors, and Georgia is doing a coordinated campaign where the Georgia Dems, like the House Caucus, is supplying us all with canvassers, full-time paid canvassers, as well as like my team is getting a ton of volunteers, and the overlapping Senate district and the overlapping congressional district. We are all combining our efforts to make sure there's no duplication. And yeah, we are just knocking on persuadable doors and making phone calls and just doing everything we can. Like, we are in this to win it. And the Republicans, what do they have to sell people? They have no policy. What are they going to say? Like, yeah, we're going to continue to not give you health care and continue to, not raise the minimum wage and continue to give ultra wealthy tax breaks. Like, that's their policy,
You got me fired up. I'm so glad you're in this. Remind folks how they can find you, learn more about you, and support you, because that's something that keeps the wheels on the tracks too.
Absolutely. So my social media is TikTok, Instagram, Facebook is Suzana for Georgia. Check me out there. Follow me. I post every single day, and I rip the Republicans a new one every day, and then also talk about what I want to do for Georgia. And then my website is SuzannaForStateHouse.com. There is a donate tab there. Please donate. It goes through ActBlue. If you don't like ActBlue, there is a P.O. box at the bottom where you can send a check if you prefer. A lot of people like to do that. But yeah, I mean, it takes a lot of money and a lot of people to get this done. Unfortunately, this is the system we live in. I wish that we could get money out of politics, but right now this is just what we have to do. My opponent will outraise me because he's part of the good old boy network, but money isn't everything. Like I said, they have no policy. So it's a lot about the ground game and just about getting people fired up, you know? And my social media following is absolutely huge. I have 250,000 followers across my platforms, and he has no social media presence at all, my opponent. So, you know, his father was the Georgia Agricultural Commissioner for like 15 years. So he's basically just a Georgia Nepo baby.
Yeah.
And yeah.
Well, here,
also,
yep, go ahead.
Go ahead.
No, I was going to say, you have a huge following because people are looking for fighters. So tell us more.
Right. Well, I'll just also in our race this year, obviously we have Senator Jon Ossoff running, which is going to be a huge boost to the entire ticket. People love Jon Ossoff. He has something like an 82% chance of winning his Senate seat again. So that is going to get people to the polls. And we're all just going to help each other. And, you know, people go watch one of Jon Ossoff's speeches. Like, this man is taking it to the Republican Party, to Trump. He is saying that the entire government right now is a pay-to-play machine where if you have coins, you put them in and the government works for you. And if you don't have coins, the government doesn't work for you. And that is absolutely true. It's true here in Georgia, too. So I think, you know, with the combined, like, excitement from him running and from people pissed off about what's going on, and just, you know, how in a midterm it always goes the other way from whoever's in charge. I think with all of that going on, we just have a really, really good chance of flipping Georgia blue.
Yep, you got me feeling good about it. I'll tell you that much right now. That's so exciting. We'd love to have you back anytime you have, you know, you want to get a call to action. You want to get that boost heading. I mean, obviously, we need to talk to you before the midterms, but I'm following you on all the things right now. I'm going to come find you.
Thank you.
Because I want to be inspired too.
Sure.
Yeah, thank you. Go get them, Suzanna. SuzannaForStatehouse.com. Suzanna for Georgia on TikTok, Instagram, and Facebook. You're amazing, and we're so glad you're in this. Take care.
Okay. Thank you so much. It's great to talk to you.
Great talking to you, too. Everyone have a great evening. We'll talk to you again tomorrow. Love you all.
If you're looking to refinance a home after a divorce, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local